We can always find our way to a fun moment, even in the shady bunch.
What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we are back, honey. The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 1. So let's jump into this. So y'all know how these shows go. The first episode, we were catching up. We were seeing what is what. And unfortunately, because of social media, a lot of this stuff we already know. So we know Candace moved into a new house. We know Robin and Juan are building a house. Hell, we even know the whole premise of this episode, but we'll get to that in a second. We open up with Wendy having a whole moment. She flings off the fur coat. We see her. If you were on TikTok this summer, you know there was the whole, what was it, the Cupid challenge or the Sweetheart challenge or lay your head on my shoulder challenge, whatever the challenge was, where you do the red light and you have the sexy dancing. And so she did this whole moment and is inviting the ladies to a nude interlude party where she said there'll be a couple of special guests, right? And so that was the invitation. Now, I'm going to say this. Now, ain't nobody going to give Karen credit for it, but y'all remember last year when Karen did that whole video invitation that she sent to all the ladies with the man playing the trumpet and inviting them down to her new house back in Potomac. Okay, Wendy. Okay, I see you. Okay. And of course, we know that Ashley is pregnant with her second baby. We see her and Dean and her husband. Dean got big. Ashley is knocking on birth's door. Okay, at this point. And listen, y'all gonna stop trying to force these scenes between Ashley and Michael, okay? Because Ashley is trying to talk to Michael about what they gonna do different this time and how they ain't had sex in 4 months, but she was worried about him cheating on her, but she ain't worried now because they doing things differently than they did the first time around. And she's sitting there trying to talk to him about it. And listen, y'all, Michael ain't a bit more concerned about Ashley and that baby and him cheating and that. He ain't a bit more concerned about having that conversation in the Man in the Moon, okay? He's sitting there trying to play with Dean. He's sitting there trying to, do whatever it is that he does, with Dean when he get home from work, okay? Now listen, out of all the people on this show that's getting new houses, Giselle done got a new house. Look like her house is done, honey. She was filming from the West Wing. We know Kern done moved 300-400 times. Listen, Wendy is even in a different house this season. Now, I don't know if it's Wendy's real house or that, because we know last year she rented a house down to the Potomac to be closer to filming, to be in Potomac. But this season, she is at her house that is on the other side of Baltimore. Now, listen, for somebody who lives here in D.C., let me tell you something. They were not exaggerating when they were talking about how far Wendy lived from where they live. If Kern lives in Potomac, Giselle lives in Bethesda, and Candace lives in Upper Marlboro. Yo, that was a hike. That was a little hump. Okay. Now, not so much for Robin, who lives outside of Baltimore, and then our new friend Mia. She said she lives at the Baltimore Harbor, so not so much for them. But baby, for the rest of them, get a book. Pull out your iPad, listen to a podcast because you got a minute. Anyway, but out of all them people that done got houses, why Ashley and them still living in that damn penthouse? Remember, they was talking about they didn't know if they had room for the first baby. Now we got a second baby, and I don't hear y'all talking about moving. Hell, we talk all the time about how these ladies don't live in Potomac, but hell, at least the rest of them live in Maryland. Ashley live in Virginia. Anyway. Let me get back to this chat. So we see Candace in her new home. Giselle comes to visit. And we actually get to meet her bonus churn. She got a little boy, little girl. Chris is churn. And she said that with the pandemic and with them homeschooling or virtual learning, because it ain't homeschooling, it's virtual learning, there is a difference. Another conversation for another day. But they've been staying with them, I guess, because they going to school during the day or whatever. And, Candace said it's been a little bit of a challenge. But she has been, getting her bonus mommy vibes on, okay? Now, she was talking about how, she's trying to get the house all decorated and ready to go, and it's been taking a long time for them to get a lot of things in because of COVID. And we all know that, ordering stuff during COVID, unless you ordered it off of Amazon, it seemed like, I don't know what Amazon had special that the rest of these places didn't have, but unless you was ordering off of Amazon, it seemed like it took extra long. And stuff like furniture and rugs and stuff like that was definitely taking a long time during COVID. But she's decorating and stuff, and then her and Giselle get to talking about Karen. Giselle said, as far as she's concerned, her relationship with Karen is a wrap. She said, Karen was dragging my family, putting all my business out there. We just got to a point of no return. Candace was saying how she's just really hurt by how things went down between her and Karen because she really, really loved Karen and she really looked at Karen as a big sister type person, and it just really, really, really bothered her. The more Giselle talked about why she's so mad at Karen, it was so funny because Candace was shading her, talking about some girl. You was just embarrassed, okay? Then Giselle started talking about how things weren't going really well with her and Jamal. With the pandemic, it's been really hard to maintain long-distance relationship. She said, it would just be nicer if he was 8 minutes down the road and not 8 states. I hate to be a stickler for geography, but it ain't 8. Just saying. It's Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. But like Candace said, girl, you just embarrassed because he been making a fool out of you. It didn't have nothing to do with Karen, and they didn't have nothing to do with Monique. And y'all know they had to flashback to the reunion, and they had to show Monique with that binder. Listen, y'all didn't have to show Monique. Y'all could have just talked about what had happened. But anyway, Chris is doing online cooking. And listen, I'm going to defend Chris on this one right here. I know we give Chris a hard time, but my sister is a chef. And I know that the pandemic hit a lot of them hard. A lot of restaurants either had to close or greatly reduce, what they were doing. So him doing online cooking classes, I know a lot of chefs that started doing that. Started doing catering, started doing, all those different things. So listen, I'm here for the innovation. I'm here for the innovation, Chris. I know some people might give you a hard time, but I'm going to give you an A for effort, okay? Then we get to the Grand Dame. She's over to the home. She is purging, going through things, looking for stuff to send down to the Goodwill. She's talking about her vow renewal, which they have decided to call So Nice we had to do it twice. Now, listen. We all know that Ray threw that little vow renewal thing out there at the reunion just to sound good. He ain't really mean that shit. And now we see him trying to scale it back, talking about some, are we playing in one of your little over-the-top situations? And Karen was like, why can't I? He said, well, I'm just saying with the pandemic and everything. Child, you ain't worried about that pandemic. You worried about this situation happening. Okay? But anyway, Karen ain't listening to you. She could care less. She gonna make it happen, and she gonna make it do what it do. She talked about how the first wedding, he called off the first wedding because she was out there being grown, and he told her he wanted his ring back, honey. I said, ooh, Karen, ooh. So then, of course, the ladies all start getting their invitations to the party, and we have that going on. So we catch up with Robin. We see Robin and Juan, and of course producers are like, all right, Robin, here we go again. When you and Juan get married. And she said, listen, we got a whole pandemic. We got 2 boys being homeschooled. We building a house. Like, that is just not at the top of our list of priorities right now. It's going to happen one day. At this point, do we even care? So her and Juan are out. And let me say this. Again, I know there's going to be people that's going to probably give Miss Robin a hard time. But I really feel like Juan said that Robin doesn't get out the bed before 2:00 and that she won't even cook for the kids anymore, that she's just ordering them, Chick-fil-A and all kinds of probably Uber Eats type stuff. And she was just like, she said, it's hard. She said, all the days run together. There's no reason to put on clothes. There's no reason to do anything differently. And it's just been really, really, really hard. Listen, again, being serious about mental health, it sounds like Robin is dealing with depression, which a lot of people went through with the pandemic. It was hard for a lot of us to process. And let's be clear, Robin has been working non-traditional jobs outside of the home. And so it probably was really, really hard. Juan, you had a job to go to every day. And I don't know how that necessarily affected your coaching job as far as the school being open or not being open. But you had a job. You had something to do every day. You had a reason to get out of the bed. And I know people will be like, well, she got 2 kids. That's the reason to get out of the bed. But her kids are old enough to cook their own breakfast. Her kids are old enough to know how to log onto their computers for school. Like, I could see how Robin fell into like a depression, because that's what it sounds like. I didn't get the impression that Robin was just playing. I felt like she really struggled. Anyway, like I said, we'll get into that later, but that's how I felt about the situation. Now, we see Miss Wendy. Wendy done went to the doctor. We see her husband going with her to the doctor, baby. Wendy done went and got some plastic surgery done. She said, listen, after she had them 3 babies breastfeeding up off of her boobs just weren't the same. So she decided that she was going to get herself a lip tuck, sculpt, or whatever the proper name is, but she was going to go get her stuff taken care of in the midst of the pandemic. Now, listen, a lot of people were not even doing, what's the word I'm looking for? Volunteer procedures during the pandemic. So, okay, girl. Let me say this, she look good, okay? And I ain't never gonna shame nobody for wanting to do better for themselves, okay? But she had the breast done, and she tried to say, they said, well, did you have anything else done? And she told me something, if I was gonna get something else done, then I would say it. But then later on, she said she got the breast done, and she had a few tweaks. Girl, why you go, like, this what I don't understand. Why you gonna admit to the one but don't want to admit to it all? Like, if you're gonna tell us that you did it, but I feel like the only reason why she admitted to the breast is because it's kind of hard to get around it, because it's kind of obvious kind of hard not to notice. But girl, you got some lipo, you got some suck and tuck. Listen, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm not here to shame nobody for nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Anyway, so we are all caught up, right? We are all caught up with everybody, what happened, what didn't happen, who's who and what's what. Now, one time about having a girl. Whatever. So, now it's time for Miss Wendy's party. So Giselle is the first to arrive in her little outfit. Then Robin shows up next. And the only reason why I feel like Robin was the second one there, because I feel like Robin won't on time. But I feel like the only reason why she was the second one there is because, like I said, she didn't live as far. Okay? It didn't take her as long to get there. We had a little scene with Candace and her bonus churn, which the only thing I walked away from that scene with is Candace can't add and subtract, and she can't do a basic word problem for a 4th grader. But anyway, so we get to Wendy's party. Excuse me. She got cupcakes, boob cupcakes, and she's got the whole. It's beautiful. She got the chef and all that good stuff. And she told the boys that she would save them a cupcake. She go to get the boys a cupcake, and then we'll ask them what does it look like, and they was like, chocolate. Like, they was really sitting there like, what the cupcake supposed to look like? It looked like chocolate. So it's kind of like a bless your heart type of situation, So when Giselle gets there, when Robin gets there, of course, you got them green-eyed bandits, honey, hanging out together. And to be honest with you, production might have let them come in first so they could be there together to act the fool. So they're looking at the place settings and they're trying to figure out who this Mia person is, because there's this new place setting for a Miss Mia. Nobody know who Mia is, right? Who is Mia? And they're still in there trying to figure out who these special guests are. And they think it's a scripper. They said because, you know, this whole nude interlude party situation, they think it's a scripper going down. So Wendy comes down. She has, you know, she's covered up, has like a little robe type situation on. And she tells them that Candace ain't coming. Candace says she had food poisoning. Now, Robin ain't buying it. Robin said, listen, I don't believe it's no food poisoning. I believe that she ain't trying to deal with Miss Kern. She not ready to see Miss Kern. And that's why her ass ain't come. We see Karen in the car with Mia. You know, that's who she invited. Mia is her friend. And, actually shows up, you know, looking all 9 months pregnant child. And so we found out that Miss Mia is a boss, okay? Mia's her friend. Mia's a boss. Mia's an entrepreneur. And in the car up there, Karen is talking about her relationship with Candace, saying, listen, me and Candace had a rough year. We went through a lot. And I know I have to just sort of respect where she is and respect that she may not be where I need her to be, and I have to respect the boundaries. Like, this is Wendy's party. I don't want to start no mess, so I'm going to just test the water, take the temperature of the room, and I will proceed accordingly. We also found out that that Karen and Wendy have had a chance to sort of talk and work through some things from last season till now. So that's going to be, I think, an interesting situation with that. Now, Mia has a string of chiropractic clinics, okay? So that's, you know, I think they said multiple businesses, but I think that's like probably her main situation. So once all the ladies get there, Wendy is holding court and she is talking about who the special guests are. And it looks like Wendy went on this long, drawn out story explaining why she had the work done that she had done. And basically at that point, it was like, girl, just, in the words of Giselle, just land the plane. Just land the plane. Okay, you got your boobs done and some other stuff. Can we eat? Because it ain't that deep. And like Robin said, I know you ain't bring me all the way out here on the other side of the world. Because like I said, for some of them, they was in that Uber Black for about, damn near 2 hours, a good hour and a half. Because I know from my house to the other side of Baltimore, it's over an hour. Maybe an hour, 20 minutes, give or take what part of the other side of Baltimore they was on. But the other side of Baltimore, no ma'am. No ma'am. To show me that you got some new boobs, girl, don't nobody care. Anyway, Miss Mia got them all beat. Miss Mia said, listen, I done had the boob job, this done, that done, and boop a doop. I get the Botox every 4 weeks. Oh yeah. And I got my clit done too. Girl, just say you had a mommy makeover. People know what you mean when you say you had a mommy makeover, girl. And you know, she also was talking. Now listen, Mia, I don't know if I'm gonna like you or not yet. I really don't know. Okay, I just met you for 5 minutes. You seem very interesting. You seem very open. You seem like one of those people that probably shares a little bit too much. Okay, and that's fine. Ashley was like that her first season. She told us way more than we needed to know. Okay. But girl, if you gonna lie about your age, I'm gonna need you to have already worked out the math. Like, remember when we was younger and we had to lie about our age because we had a fake ID? You needed to remember the age that was on your ID. Like, you couldn't get caught slipping. Okay, remember when you would meet that boy at the party and you was 16, but he was 21 and you ain't want to sound, you wanted to lie, so you had to say you was 18 and hope that, you know, and then if he said, well, what year when you was born, you had to have that math ready. Girl, if you gonna say that your husband is 38 years older than you, but you 38, then I'm gonna need you to remember how old you telling them people you are, because see, Candace the only one that can't do the math. Candace, the only one. Now, as the evening went on, we start talking about why Candace isn't there, and Wendy let him know. Candace said she got sick, she had some food poisoning or something, and here go messy ass Robin. Well, I think she just wasn't ready to see Karen. Karen was like, really? And Wendy was like, listen, my hope for our group this year is that we can all just find a way to be cool, be cordial. And we ain't gotta be best friends, but let's find a way to be cool and be cordial with each other. Here go, Giselle. Well, that ain't gonna happen because I can't stand Karen. Karen said the feeling is mutual. And then Giselle said, yeah. And so from now on, I decided that I'm just gonna tell your truth. Your drunk truth, your cheating truth. Here go, Karen. Don't do that. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to do that. She was like, Giselle, stop. Giselle, stop. So then Giselle gonna say, and with your husband over there with his broken peen or whatever, and Giselle was like, see, better that. Well, we know that Jamal putting his peen in everybody. She was like, well, better that than it not work at all. And here they go going back and forth. And baby Giselle said, well, Karen said, well, Giselle, if we're gonna talk, let's talk. Let's talk about your hot box. Let's talk about that's the reason why don't nobody want none of it. Because it's just hot. Okay? You carrying things you don't need to be carrying. She said, tell the people why we went to Sing Sing. Baby, I want to know why they went to Sing Sing. But that's where the episode ended. I said, well, dang. So I guess we're going to find out next week why they went to Sing Sing. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments, please.